In politics, Yvonne, we sometimes come across as a how not to do it kind of model. For heaven's sake, this is just candidates picking their running mates. It's not supposed to be a ritual like what the country is going through right now. Because what is a running mate? A running mate is supposed, in the end, to be the principal assistant of the candidate, the president. So there are only about 2 or 3 things that really count. First of all, because we got this culture of running mates from the US, the reason was in case of incapacitation of the president, in case of the death of the president, God forbid, that person can actually be president. So the ability to be president, whatever that is, was the first requirement. Number 2 is the ability to interpret the vision of the president and implement and support. It's not your show. It is the show of your boss. So you're coming in as a support cast for the candidate. And so what has traditionally happened is candidates look for loyal and able running mates that they can trust. You know, you don't want to...
good relationship between them.
Good chemistry is very, very important. So that you don't start doubting, you know, whether you'll be in power or not. But now we've expanded it. This time, our picking of running mates has been as tough, if not slightly more tougher than that of picking presidential candidates themselves. The good old times when Azimio was picking candidates, Musalia Mudavadi appeared before MKF in lunch in Mount Kenya Foundation in Safari Park. Safari Park had more open, televised interviews, which is probably the route we should have taken with the running mates as well. But this is what it points to. When it's this complex, first of all, it points to the very base of our political principles, which is politicians are very, very selfish. They are in this for themselves. They are not really connected by ideals. Few of them are, but a majority of them are not. It's just about what can you give me so that I can be in power. It doesn't matter. So the way we're going through the picking of running mates, this is not how it's done. It's supposed to be a quiet, contemplative process by the candidate. They're supposed to go on a retreat, stay in the South Coast and with a small team that can quietly call in somebody. And if you look even at someone like Donald Trump, who is impersonation of chaos as a person, he still went through a much, much orderly and quiet process of picking a running mate in Michael Pence, because the principles also played. Which base do you want to appeal to? Obviously, right now we are trying to look at the first 2 major tribes that can help you move as close as possible to the 50+1 threshold. So again, we are going through it the wrong way. I think I mentioned in 1992 when Bill Clinton became candidate for the Democratic Party, there was a short list of 50 that was then cut down to about 5. He ended up having a lunch session that was supposed to be 1 hour with
Al Gore, who he had never met.
He had never met. And they stayed there for 3 hours. And they thought, 1 hour to 3 hours, this is the guy that should be my running mate. Of course, we are very far away. And I don't buy the argument, Francis, normally Kenyans like saying, oh, but US has had how many years of independence? They're on their nearly 3rd century. But I think we've existed for just as long. I mean, we're not created after them. I mean, in fact, we are luckier.
Humans, right?
Yes. In fact, we are luckier that, you know, there are all these models that we can either borrow.
We don't have to make the same mistakes.
Cross-pollinate. But again, I go to my core argument that maybe in writing the Constitution of Kenya 2010, we went too far from who we are. Look at this. There'll be a lot of outcry. There'll be a lot of problems the day running mates are named, because there are quite a number of people are expecting to be named. Give me just a minute, Yvonne, to talk about Kalonzo Musyoka, who ran a very public campaign, saying, I am the most qualified.
All the way from Mukambani to Mombasa, actually, in the lead-up to the interviews. This is not the way running mates are picked anywhere. Because it's such an aggressive approach, it becomes acrimonious. Just when we are now saying this should not be the kind of coexistence between a president and deputy president, because Kenyans are there now discussing how Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto have executed the office of president and deputy president. And again, it's a mastered model on how not to do it. Now, we're being fed with this from the grassroots. Yeah, before the election, before the win.
It's starting at running mate stage.
Right.
If you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, if that is how the team and his advisors handled it, how would they handle it once they are in office? These are questions that must be asked, because we have seen what a deputy president that can move away from his boss can actually do and run a parallel political conversation that is very destabilizing to order and national national order, basically. So, first of all, Kalonzo Musyoka has gotten it wrong on approach. Oh, there was something that they did the other day. There was a prayer in, was it in Wote? Mm-hmm. Where now you had people praying, clergymen dressed in red and,
they prayed.
And praying and endorsing Kalonzo Musyoka. Now, that is blackmail on another level. Now it's taking religious proportions. So I think there are a lot of lessons that are coming out of this Azimio la Umoja selection process. It is a massive process. It is complicated, complete with a selection panel, which in my view should not have been public. It should have been sitting somewhere in the many exclusive places we have in this country to talk to people and come with a short list, announce the name quietly. These are conversations that are supposed to be in the back room. The public doesn't have to know everything you're doing. Don't do it in public, some of those things.